My fellow Belizeans, the festive transit to the new year is upon us. These are days of celebration, family cheer, and reflection. As we stride to 2025, tradition beckons us to review our performance during the closing year while picturing our prospects for the new year ahead. For sure, even the scoffers would concede the manifold victories that Belizeans can confidently claim at this year's finish line. Our people are working, earning higher incomes, paying less taxes, living in safer communities, benefiting from improved education and healthcare, and believing for the first time in a generation that opportunity and hope match their ambitions. As Prime Minister, my pledge to Belizeans has been clear from the start of our journey together. Optimism and opportunity will propel all Belizeans to win. And 2024 brought about multiple wins, big and small. Allow me to mention just a few of the big ones. Belizeans are winning when the vast majority who seek employment can find high-paying jobs. National data shows that 98 out of every 100 who seek work can now find well-paying jobs. Belizeans won when government recently raised the brackets of those who pay zero income taxes and removed the GST for property transfers and mortgages. Belizeans are winning when all fees and costs at every public health clinic in the country have now been eliminated. And Belizeans entrepreneurs have won special status with the targeted duty and tax exemptions that automatically apply to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Some wins take more time to secure. For example, inflation. Government heard the complaints about the cost of living, and government has acted forcefully against price gougers and acted decisively to provide relief. Our commitment to lowering the cost of living is why our bakers and public transport operators and farmers have all received some level of subsidy and relief. And in spectacular fashion, Belizeans capped the year with our first ever tax holiday. 4 days, 2 weekends before Christmas, where shopping is done without paying any GST, a 12.5% reduction to prices countrywide. The sum of our efforts is the reason why the latest estimate shows price inflation contained to only 2.1%. 2024 has truly been a year of Belizean triumph. Let me be clear though, these many achievements have not dimmed our administration's desire to work even harder in 2025 to deliver on the virtuous goals of Plan Belize. Yes, poverty has been halved compared to 2018, but any Belizean that's poor is one too many. Yes, thousands of housing and farming plots have been awarded, but this government's push to place valuable titled land in the hands of first-time landowners will not relent. 2025 will witness the construction start of the new state-of-the-art tertiary care hospital in Bamapan that will elevate public health care to new levels of excellence. And the new year will bring the final phase in the realization of a truly national health insurance program so that every Belizean, including residents of the Kaya district, benefit from free public health care. Our push for a greater quality and more accessible education programs will intensify in 2025, as will our already aggressive program of infrastructure improvements, including streets, roads, drains and bridges, particularly in our villages and towns. Altogether, Belize is better positioned than ever before to soar to enriching heights. Our reputation as a world-class tourism destination, the results of which show in the massive visitor growth of recent years, has blossomed now to a destination for investment, for retirement, and for commercial access to Mexico, CARICOM, and Central America. In a world seemingly beleaguered by conflict and chaos, our precious jewel glitters ever brighter as a model of stability, diversity, and sustainability. Beyond the stunning accomplishments and statistics, what most heartens me as we soar to 2025 is to witness the winning spirit of our people. In these brief few years of enabling the private sector, of pushing back against apathy and corruption, of engaging in good faith collaboration with public servants and teachers, we sense and see the transformative impact of our people's remarkable resilience. In this first phase of Plan Belize, we gave birth to an age of self-belief and optimism that seemed impossible 4 years ago. Today, any win is possible. Any dream is achievable. Government in this new year will continue to champion higher individual and institutional standards, conscious that as public servants, we must lead by example. We also know that 2025 brings with it the promise of elections, a time when we must first give an account of our performance over the past 4 years and offer our vision for building on Plan Belize. We remain confident that the best version of Belize lies ahead of us, and with the guidance of our Creator, we will move forward. Vamos! Vamos bien! To every Belizean, I extend the very best wishes for a safe, sparkling strut into 2025. May the Almighty continue to lavish our people and country with His abundant blessings. Happy New Year to all.
Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight on Ctv3 News, a tragic discovery: missing San Antonio village resident Joshua Hall found dead amid police investigation and family concerns. Belize officials respond to suspected New World Screwworm case in Toledo District. Early morning blaze in South San Pedro leads to arson investigation and heroic child rescues. And we'll tell you about the Prime Minister's plan for Belize come 2025. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Monday, December 30, 2024. Good evening. With your news also, Sama Carson, Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Carmelita Perez. The search for Joshua Hall, a 20-year-old resident of San Antonio Village in Corozal, ended in tragedy as his body was discovered yesterday in the Dominguez layout area just outside of Corozal town. Hall had been reported missing since last Monday when he was last seen entering the Corozal police station to sign the register as part of his bail conditions. Despite the family's numerous attempts to locate him, including soliciting help from local businesses for surveillance footage, efforts to find Hall proved fruitless. The Hall family even launched a $5,000 reward for any information leading to his whereabouts. Sadly, their hopes were dashed when he was found with multiple gunshot wounds, confirming their worst fears. Assistant Superintendent Gilberto Romero, Regional Commander of the Eastern Division, shared some details regarding the ongoing investigation.
On the 29th day of December 2024, upon information received, police visited the Dominguez layout area in Corozal, where they saw the lifeless body of a male person with gunshot injuries. He was identified as Joshua Hall, who had been reported missing the week before. He was seen with gunshot injuries, and a bicycle was found in the area. Information as he had gone to the station to sign a season bail. Thereafter, he left on his bicycle. Sometime thereafter, he was reported missing.
Sir, well, Christian,
Yeah.
Sir, I just want to ask, Commander Eastern Division, how do you feel you went
The Hall family has raised serious questions about the police's involvement, as the last confirmed sighting of Joshua was at the police station. There is currently no record or evidence to indicate that Hall left the station after signing in, leading the family to ponder whether law enforcement might bear some responsibility for his disappearance. Christopher Noble, the commanding officer of the Northern Region, responded to the family's allegations, acknowledging the community's concerns.
Based on the allegations that the family has brought forward, we are looking into it. We have the professional standard branch that are in Corozal, and they are doing what they need to do. The family did have an independent person contact me, and I asked that person to speak to the family to dissuade any notion that the police would be involved.
So, to dissuade any notion that?
The police would be involved.
Okay, so then, although Professional Standards Branch is investigating, you have preliminarily concluded that the police were not involved?
We are not preliminarily concluding anything. The family did reach out to other persons, and somebody reached out to us, and we are in support of what they're asking. In other words, if they want somebody independent, we will share, or that person will share information with us that would assist us.
Okay, the family reports that the father, at some point, accompanying his son to the station, and I think he made a get bail for him, that a police officer, who the family has named, cautioned the young man to, you have a good family, be good, but also, if I catch you out there, I kill you.
And based on that is where we are with the Professional Standard Branch. That's one. Two, I will not go further than what the family has said, because that is a matter that can be taken up legally by the person named.
Does the information suggest that he did leave the police station and was then abducted?
That is a matter being dealt with by the investigators as we speak.
Are you able to speak about the cameras in the station which aren't working, reportedly, according to the family?
You already said what the cameras are doing.
Sir, are the cameras working?
You answered that question prior.
All right, but is that something that is irregular, or is it just snafu, situation normal, all followed up?
Well, it's not snafu, it's not, you answered it already. I can't tell you where your answer can't be.
Hall was no stranger to police. However, the circumstances surrounding his death have raised more questions than answers. Noble assured the public that investigators would explore all possibilities to uncover the truth behind this tragic incident.
Our investigation is correct. It is still fluid, and we're looking into the angles, one brought forth by the family and others that we are getting leads into.
Do you believe that he left the police station and was then possibly abducted?
Beliefs are for people that go to court, Jules.
Is there any indication if, from the physical examination of the body, I know probably a post-mortem has to be conducted, but does he appear when he was found to have been recently murdered, or might he have been thrown there from many days prior?
Based on the state, the post-mortem will be the one to determine.
Was he in a state of decomposition?
The post-mortem will determine. We take the dead bodies are taken to the laboratory.
Police continue to urge anyone with additional information to come forward as they work to seek justice for Joshua Hall. Over the weekend, the Ministry of Agriculture, along with the Belize Agriculture Health Authority, Baja, announced the detection of a suspected case of New World screwworm in the community of Criquesarco in the Toledo district. The case was detected in a single animal, which has since been quarantined, along with the entire farm in which it was located, as well as the immediate area. Today, the ministry officials hosted a press conference where they shared more about the suspected case and what it has been doing to contain the spread of the parasite since it was reported on December 28.
At the farming establishment, a 6-month-old Brangus heifer was observed penned in a corral. Closer inspection found a suspicious seeping wound on her right ear near her ear tag. A total of 59 larvae were removed. The wound was treated with ciperchlor, which is cypermethrin, gentian violet, pine, and citronella oil. Comafos powder and ivermectin was administered subcutaneous. No other wound was found on the animal, and no other animals in the herd presented lesions, wounds, or infestations. The producer was informed that his farm was under quarantine and therefore he would not be allowed to move any animals in or out of the establishment. He was also advised that follow-up technical visits would be necessary. He was given advice on treatment and preventative measures for his entire herd. The samples were transported to the Baja Entomology Laboratory, and preliminary findings by the Baja entomologists indicated New World screwworm. We are awaiting confirmation by COPEG. The nearest positive case from the suspected case in Criquesarco is in Modesto Mendez, Guatemala, which is approximately 11.83 miles in a straight line. We have been on high alert for months. As the minister mentioned, we have had an aggressive education and outreach program coupled with active surveillance. We have done well at preventing infestations, and I must acknowledge the vital role stakeholders have played. In this specific instance, the producer, his neighbors, and the community of Criquesarco acted with caution, consistently inspected their animals, and immediately notified Baja of wounds with larvae, also known as worms. This was crucial to our immediate response. Baja and MAFSE officers are in Criquesarco continuing the epidemiological investigation. The delimited area is 3 miles, approximately 5 kilometers, surrounding the affected establishment. The buffer area extends 6 miles from the suspect case. Epidemiological investigation involves actively searching for infested and wounded animals, and includes conducting interviews, inspection of animals, and treatment of all wounds found on animals.
Checks are also being conducted in farms along a 6-mile radius of the initial case, and thus far officials are not reporting any additional cases in the area.
So far, no additional cases have been found. The infestation is contained to one wound on one animal in one establishment. The establishment remains under quarantine, is being closely monitored, and is prohibited from moving animals. The movement of animals in all other areas continues to be regulated as per SI 143 of 2024, Prevention, Control, and Eradication of New World Screwworm, Cochleomia omnivorax. The movement of animals is controlled and requires accredited officers to carry out New World Screwworm health inspections before the movement of animals is allowed. All persons wanting to move any small stock or livestock must contact a BLPA or a BAHA officer to carry out a physical inspection of the animal or animals to be moved. The officer must certify the animal or animals as fit to move and sign a New World Screwworm health inspection certificate before a movement permit can be issued. Importantly, any contravention of the regulation is an offense and carries a fine of $5,000 or imprisonment of up to 3 years, or both fine and imprisonment. Next steps. You may be wondering what the next steps are. To summarize, the suspected infested farm remains under quarantine and will continue to be monitored for the appearance of wounds and infestations. Comprehensive active surveillance continues, especially in communities nearest the affected establishment, will be continuously monitored. BLPA will ensure thorough inspections of animals as part of their New World Screwworm health inspection certification and movement control. Once COPEG confirms the identification of the sample sent, the World Organization for Animal Health, or WOA, will be notified. The awareness and sensitization campaign continues. I want to take a moment here to assure the public, especially our producers, that BAHA scientifically developed the National Prevention, Control, and Eradication Plan and the Disease Emergency Plan, which are harmonized with the regional emergency response plans. We are following international protocols for disease management to maintain trade. Thank you.
The detection of this first case comes following several months of surveillance and education carried out by the ministry along with its partners. Quick action and education, according to Agriculture Minister Honorable Jose Mai, was of crucial importance to allow for proper response.
BAHA and the Ministry of Agriculture have been tracking the spread of New World Screwworm infestation through Central America since early 2023. In July 2023, BAHA began implementing preventative measures by increasing sanitary measures, strengthening the country's biosecurity, and building human and laboratory capacities. As part of the Orissa region, Belize contributed to the preparation of the Regional Prevention of Spread Plan. BAHA finalized our National Prevention Plan, ensuring that it fell within the regional plan. This plan was shared with the Ministry of Agriculture and Orissa and was accepted and approved. The foundation of both the regional and national plan is grounded in science and based on the assessment of risk with a focus on surveillance, education and outreach, control of animal movement, and inter-institutional communication and cooperation. We have been working hard to prevent the introduction of screwworm into Belize. Belize is the last of all Central American countries to be reporting on a suspect case. We activated our national plan in October and aggressively engaged with stakeholder groups to strengthen our position. As part, 425 establishments, farms, and homes were visited, and more than 235 technical personnel have been trained in New World Screwworm prevention and control.
The fly is believed to have migrated from neighboring Guatemala, where cases of the parasite have been reported of late.
It is important. Your question is very important as to regards to how did the worms get there, and Dr. Alvarez explained that it's a fly, and it flies distances. The team on the ground is doing a thorough investigation. So far, we will show you right now where the case was found. There is no direct contact with the community in Guatemala, 11 miles away from Cricket Circle. There's no connection, no road. So if you look on the map, you will see Cricket Circle, and you look way at the down at the corner where Belize and Guatemala meet. That area there is where Modesto is. That's the last case found in Guatemala sometime last week. So the distance between these two communities is 11 miles. So there's no road that leads directly from Modesto Mendez to Cricket Circle. And that is why we are assuming that the fly may have flown in from Guatemala into Belize. If you look on the Guatemalan territory south of the Sarstoon, all the cleared area you see there is all farmland, they're all farms. So we have to assume that there is a population of fertile flies, and one of them may have found its way into Belize. If you look where Cricket Circle is, it is central southern Toledo. And so that is where we're assuming that the fly had to fly in to Belizean territory and found an open wound, and that is where we have the case today.
Despite the detection of this single case in our country, Minister Mai today assured Belizeans, particularly livestock producers, that cattle exportation will not be halted at this point in time.
If you recall, some months ago, that was our major concern, because on the existing protocol that we had with Mexico, they had indicated that if we were to find screwworm in Belize, it would take us 12 months after Belize is declared screwworm free for us to re-engage export to Mexico. Well, if you also recall, 2 weeks ago, I was in Palenque, Chiapas, meeting with the new Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Julio Verdaguer. And as we are speaking here today, we have been in contact with him. I have been in contact with him over the weekend. He has acknowledged that he has received information of our first case of screwworm. He's also offered his support to Belize. If Belize needs support, he's willing to do whatever he can in his capacity to help us. And he appreciates the early notification which Belize did. We did not shy away from it. We took samples, we took photographs, we did our diagnostics in the lab, and we informed immediately so that other countries can take action. When we met last 2 weeks in Palenque, Chiapas, one of the main topics discussed was the new export protocol. At that time, they were still banned from exporting into the U.S. But a few days after, the U.S. gave them a new protocol saying that you can export, but these are the new conditions. A while ago, Dr. Verdaguer got in contact with us and his Senacica office, saying that they're almost completing the new protocols for Belize's export to Mexico. It means that we will not lose a day of exporting cattle to Mexico. Our cattle exports will continue. of course, with a different protocol.
The screwworm is a highly destructive parasite that poses a significant threat to livestock and other animals. BAHA and MAFSE have urged livestock owners, transporters, and the public to remain vigilant. Preventative measures include regular inspection of animals for signs, wound infestations by larvae. Additionally, cattle farmers are being advised to report any suspected cases to BAHA or healthcare providers and to ensure that livestock have health inspection certificates and movement permits before transportation. Additionally, animal movements should occur only during daylight hours, and all animals, including pets, must be declared at designated animal movement control points.
That, like the CVO and the minister said, is based on science and risk assessment. And so we have determined thresholds upon which we will quarantine entire areas. So with one case in one animal on one establishment has not yet met the threshold for us to quarantine the entire Toledo district. We are quarantining that facility or that establishment, that farm. We're doing surveillance for the next 3 miles, and after that, we extend to 6 miles. Depending on how the spread is found to be, then we will determine when and where we will establish internal animal checkpoints. Once these are established, then it means that all animals going in and out of the area must meet the conditions and inspection protocols as outlined in SI 143. These protocols have been shared with the livestock associations, including cattle, poultry, pigs, horses, and we have been practicing, so to speak, with how to do the inspection protocols. We have trained officers to conduct these protocols. We have tentatively purchased small structures so that we have systems in place ready to go once we have met those thresholds. So again, we are basing when to in quarantine areas of the South or any portion of the country for that matter. We quarantine it based on the surveillance that we have in place and according to our emergency plan.
Additionally, it is important to note that New World Screwworm is not limited to livestock and can also affect pets and even humans, and so vigilance is advised.
Once the animal recovers, it will be perfectly fine. The issue with screwworm is that because they are such voracious feeders, you know, they create large wounds in a very small period of time. And the fact that one fly lays between 350 to about 450 eggs in one spot can cause death of the animal if it's not treated in time, right? And of course, you also have the risk of secondary infections. When I said that it's transmissible to humans, what I meant is that any small wound on or lesion on a human that is not treated, if there's improper hygiene, can be infested, you know, with larvae. A fly can actually be attracted to that wound. The scent is what attracts, the scent of blood and pus and that sort of, those sort of things are what attract the flies. They lay their eggs, and then that becomes, you know, a major issue. Because many of us don't exactly know what screwworm was or is prior to it starting to move out of Panama. We've had to do a lot of awareness and sensitization, and all of that is what has prompted people to be ready. And people have been purchasing products and keeping them. We have been promoting the treatment of all wounds, wounds that were not previously treated because screwworm had been eradicated. We weren't worrying about simple things like the navels of newborn calves, like brands, like ear tags. So people have been retaking these management practices. They've been starting again, and it is helping. And we know that a lot of people have been purchasing products and keeping them in stock for themselves. And we want to continue to encourage them. More than anything, we want to continue pushing that all of these management practices that were done before be retaken and be redone. We are encouraging the treatment of all wounds, but most importantly, we're encouraging the inspection of your animals. And when I say the inspection of your animals, we're not only talking about cattle, even your dogs and your cats and your pigs, because Nicaragua, for example, has pigs as being the second most affected species. So these simple things can help to prepare you, can help to prevent. And we've had farmers show us in so many different ways that they are stocked up on products, that they are doing their own treatment of wounds, and that they are following recommendations.
Residents are encouraged to report cases of suspected screwworm infestations to Baja's Animal Health Department at phone numbers 824-4872 in Central Farm, 302-1388 in Orange Walk, or via WhatsApp at 670-7003. Early Sunday morning, a fire tore through a South San Pedro neighborhood, destroying 2 wooden apartment buildings and a metal-framed garage, leading to a swift arson investigation. The blaze ignited around 1:30 in the morning on C-Star Street, prompting San Pedro police to respond to reports of an apartment on fire. Firefighters arrived to find a wooden apartment structure engulfed in flames, which quickly spread to a neighboring building and garage. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. However, the financial losses are expected to be significant, with the fire consuming both buildings and an Isuzu Rodeo SUV parked nearby, along with a motorcycle. Investigators traced the fire's origin to room number 4 on the first apartment building, where tenant Fermin Witzel, 40-year-old, reported hearing a loud gas hissing sound around 1 in the morning. Witzel, who was upstairs at the time, rushed downstairs to investigate, but was thrown backward by an explosion when he attempted to open the door. Upon re-entering the room, Witzel discovered several gas tanks with open valves releasing gas, which contributed to the rapid spread of the flames. Suspicion has since fallen on Witzel's workman, Juan Angela Tun, a 40-year-old Belizean-Mexican national who had been residing in the room for the past 4 days and is alleged to have made threat against other tenants. The exact cause of the fire remains undetermined, but investigators have identified Tun as a person of interest in the ongoing inquiry. Of note is that amidst the destruction, 2 police officers are being praised for their bravery after rescuing 4 children trapped inside the burning building. Police constables Rabatu and Bradley risked their lives running into the blaze to save the sleeping children, while their parents were reportedly absent from the scene. Despite thick smoke and intense flames, the officers successfully evacuated all 4 children, ensuring their safety. The heroic actions of the constables have drawn widespread praise from the community for their selflessness and courage. As mentioned, authorities continue to investigate the cause of the fire, with arson remaining a possibility. The fire affected a total of 48 individuals, including 9 men, 6 male teens, 10 women, 5 young women, 8 boys, and 10 girls ages 2 to 12 years. Coming up next, a 12-year-old minor from Corozal goes missing. Her family is concerned about her whereabouts. Stay tuned.
El gusano barrenador del Nuevo Mundo representa una amenaza importante para el ganado, las mascotas y los seres humanos. Puede provocar graves pérdidas si no se controla rápidamente. actualmente no está presente en Belice. Es por eso que la detección temprana es crucial para evitar su propagación. Ayudemos a mantenerlo fuera. No traiga animales de otros países ilegalmente. Si nota gusaneras en heridas inusuales, infórmelo de inmediato. Llame a Baja al 824-4872 o envíe un mensaje de texto al 670-7003. Juntos podemos trabajar para mantener a nuestro país libre del gusano barrenador del Nuevo Mundo y salvar animales. Este mensaje es presentado por Baja, OIRSA, IICA, USDA y el Ministerio de Agricultura, Seguridad Alimentaria y Empresas.
A minor from Carozal was reported as missing earlier today. She is Wendy Mejia Mesa, who was last seen yesterday evening. While little is known about her whereabouts, her family is seeking the public's assistance in locating the 12-year-old. Her photo, as you can see, is displayed on our screen. So if you have any information on where she might be, you're asked to kindly contact the family at phone number 610-6094. A robbery that took place along the George Price Highway on Saturday afternoon has left a local archaeologist injured and grappling with significant losses. 42-year-old Vanina Garcia, an archaeologist from Benque Viejo, reported the incident to the police shortly after it occurred around 4:45 p.m. while she was walking towards her hometown. According to her account, the harrowing experience began when a black motorcycle carrying two men dressed in helmets came to a stop in front of her. The passenger dismounted, brandishing a knife, and approached Garcia threateningly. In an alarming turn of events, the assailant pressed the knife against her neck, leading to a violent struggle. During the confrontation, Garcia sustained cuts to her right arm and back, marking a terrifying ordeal that left her injured and alarmed. The attacker swiftly cut the straps of her handbag, fleeing the scene with his accomplice on the motorcycle heading towards San Ignacio town. Here's what she told us today.
At around 4:30 p.m. that evening, I was walking down the street to take a taxi to go back home after work. That is when two masked men wearing helmets on a motorcycle passed me on the opposite side. Seeing me on their own, they turned towards me, and that is when they went straight to my purse. One of them, that was the passenger, came down from the cycle, and we got into a struggle. When that ensued, he took out a knife and held it to my neck, and that was when he cut me behind my ear. He cut the straps of my bag and got into the motorcycle, and they drove off. I sustained a cut to my right ear and arm, a stab wound to my back as well, some scrapes on my face, and a cut wound to my index finger. Nothing serious. I was treated at the San Ignacio Community Hospital, and I was released afterwards. They drove off with my personal belongings. That included a Samsung Galaxy S22. I had a 9 West watch, a wallet with my personal money and all my personal documents along with my ATM cards. People who know me know the type of work I do. I work hard for my money and my personal stuff. Apart from working for the Institute, I do catering services for different occasions, and everything that was taken from me was my personal stuff. And no, I did not have $3,000 with me, as it has been stipulated by some of the media houses.
Garcia's stolen possessions amounted to over 3,000 Belize dollars, including her wallet, several personal items, a taser, and her cell phone. The total estimated value of the stolen items is $3,370. Authorities are actively investigating the case and have reviewed surveillance footage from the area, though unfortunately the video did not yield a clear description of the suspects or the motorcycle involved in the crime. In other news, a rental SUV was completely destroyed in a fire on John Smith Road on Friday, December 27, 2024, forcing its American driver to flee the vehicle as flames engulfed it. Police reported that they were alerted to the fire at approximately 12:45 p.m. and arrived at the scene to find the 2013 Ford Escape SUV, license plate BCC 73906, consumed by flames. The vehicle was parked on the right-hand side of the road heading towards the George Price Highway. The driver, 50-year-old Rachel Goldman, an accountant from Pennsylvania, told investigators that she had rented the SUV from AQ Auto Rentals for 6 days. While driving on John Smith Road, she noticed smoke coming from the front of the vehicle. After pulling over to the side of the road, she heard an explosion and the vehicle was quickly engulfed in flames. Goldman escaped unharmed but was unable to retrieve her belongings from the vehicle. Among the items destroyed were her American passport, a credit card, and iPhone 12 valued at $600 US, clothing, and the SUV itself, which was valued at 30,000 Belize dollars. The vehicle was insured with third-party risk coverage. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. As the Belizeans gear up to ring in the new year, Prime Minister John Briceño took the airwaves today to deliver his traditional New Year's address, reflecting on the government's accomplishments over the past year and laying out ambitious plans for 2025. In his address, Prime Minister Briceño highlighted significant strides made by his administration throughout 2024, emphasizing economic growth, advancements in health care, and increased investment in education.
Belizeans are winning when the vast majority who seek employment can find high-paying jobs. National data shows that 98 out of every 100 who seek work can now find well-paying jobs. Belizeans won when government recently raised the brackets of those who pay zero income taxes and removed the GST for property transfers and mortgages. Belizeans are winning when all fees and costs at every public health clinic in the country have now been eliminated. And Belizeans entrepreneurs have won special status with the targeted duty and tax exemptions that automatically apply to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Our commitment to lowering the cost of living is why our bakers and public transport operators and farmers have all received some level of subsidy and relief. And in spectacular fashion, Belizeans capped the year with a first ever tax holiday. 4 days, 2 weekends before Christmas, where shopping is done without paying any GST, a 12.5% reduction to prices countrywide. The sum of our efforts is the reason why the latest estimate shows price inflation contained to only 2.1%.
As he looked ahead to 2025, Briceño outlined a broader vision for the country.
2025 will witness the construction start of the new state-of-the-art tertiary care hospital in Bamapan that will elevate public health care to new levels of excellence. And the new year will bring the final phase in the realization of a truly national health insurance program so that every Belizean, including residents of the Kaya district, benefit from free public health care. Our push for a greater quality and more accessible education programs will intensify in 2025, as will our already aggressive program of infrastructure improvements, including streets, roads, drains and bridges, particularly in our villages and towns. Altogether, Belize is better positioned than ever before to soar to enriching heights. Our reputation as a world-class tourism destination, the results of which show in the massive visitor growth of recent years, has blossomed now to a destination for investment, for retirement, and for commercial access to Mexico, CARICOM, and Central America. We also know that 2025 brings with it the promise of elections, a time when we must first give an account of our performance over the past 4 years and offer our vision for building on Plan Belize. We remain confident that the best version of Belize lies ahead of us, and with the guidance of our Creator, we will move forward. Vamos! Vamos bien! To every Belizean, I extend the very best wishes for a safe, sparkling strut into 2025. May the Almighty continue to lavish our people and country with His abundant blessings. Happy New Year to all.
In closing, Prime Minister Pedro expressed her gratitude for the support and collaboration of the Belizean people throughout 2024, encouraging unity and hope as the nation embarks on a new year filled with possibilities. The 2024-2025 sugarcane crop season came to an official start on Friday, December 27th at the sugar mill in Tower Hill. Despite the official start of the season, however, cane supply continues to be lower than expected, and farmers are citing the condition of sugar roads as the main factor for this delay. Agriculture Minister Honorable Jose Mai today spoke on the matter, indicating that government is working along with the Ministry of Infrastructure to complete works on northern sugar roads as soon as possible. Minister Mai also assured farmers that if the need arises for works to be done on additional roads, government will step in to access the matter.
Roads, Iran. I just have telephoned with the chairman of Sugar Board, Mr. Osorio. The farmers met this morning and they are still concerned with Sugar Road, although MIDH is saying that in Corozal, the contracts have been completed up to 80%. So there seems to be some type of miscommunication regarding how many sugar roads are being done. Nevertheless, tomorrow I will proceed to meet with the cane farmers, and in my area we'll go over the area to see which roads have been repaired and which not. But the Prime Minister has also informed. I report to him daily on the matter of sugar industry, and if there is a need to fix the sugar roads, we have to do it. The only problem is that the weather has not been too cooperative. It rains on and off, and if it stops raining, then the soil is still wet and the trucks can't get in to dump. But it's not an excuse. I will follow up tomorrow, Aaron, and if we need to fix sugar roads, we will do so.
And sticking to the topic of the sugar industry, on Friday, BSI-ASR confirmed that the Commission of Inquiry into the industry has concluded its work and submitted a preliminary report to key stakeholders. Finance Director for BSI-ASR, Sean Chavarria, spoke more on the matter.
We actually heard from the Commission of Inquiry roughly 2 weeks ago. They had shared a summary of their recommendations, but we haven't seen the full report, and we have requested the full report because really it's difficult for us to opine on what the summary of the findings and recommendations are without seeing the rationale for it. So we requested the full report. The Commission did ask us not to make that public as yet because they want to ensure the proper communication is done with all the stakeholders first and get their feedback. But from our standpoint, it was a bit challenging for us to give feedback without seeing the full report. And so we've requested that, and we're hopeful that we can get that sometime soon.
There is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Santa baby, just set a bottle under the tree for me. Make it coconut, please. Santa baby, sip some Caribbean rum tonight. Santa baby, a bottle tonight. So sip some Caribbean rum tonight. Sip some Caribbean rum tonight. Merry and bright.
Going back to the topic of the sugar industry, on Friday, BSI-ASR confirmed that the Commission of Inquiry into the industry has concluded its work and submitted preliminary report to key stakeholders, as we have mentioned. The sugar mill also informed the media that through the Belcogen cogeneration plant, it is currently awaiting the approval of its new power purchase agreement by the PUC. On Friday, the PUC issued a proposal to grant consent to Belcogen, which is the final stage to allow for the license to be renewed. During the opening of the sugarcane crop season, we questioned officials at BSR about this process.
Well, Belcogen generation license is actually expiring at the end of December. And so with the new regulation, we had to go through a process of applying first for a generation license and then the consent for the facility. So we now have our generation license for the next 10 years, and the process of finalizing the consent, I think the deadline is today. And so far we haven't heard, we've submitted everything that has been requested by the PUC, and so we're expecting that that consent should similarly be provided.
In other news, the government and people of Belize extended heartfelt condolences to the Carter family and the United States of America on the passing of former U.S. President Jimmy Carter. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs posted on X, the government of Belize extends heartfelt condolences on the passing of former U.S. President Jimmy Carter. His dedication to peace and democracy worldwide, including his support of the Price Center, will always be remembered, end quote. President Carter, celebrated globally for his commitment to democracy, peace, and humanitarian efforts, held a special place in the hearts of Belizeans. His steadfast support for Belize's independence and territorial integrity during a critical period in the nation's history remains a testament to his enduring friendship with the jewel. In recognition of his extraordinary contributions, Belize awarded President Carter the prestigious Order of Belize last year. This honor acknowledged his advocacy for Belize's sovereignty, as well as his efforts to improve the lives of Belizeans through initiatives like the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter War Project, which provided homes to families in need. President Carter's remarkable legacy of service, leadership, and global unity will continue to inspire generations worldwide, including Belize. The United Democratic Party, in a press statement, also said, and we quote, "His legacy as a champion for democracy, human dignity, and sustainable progress is one that will continue to inspire present and future generations worldwide, including Belize. His unwavering support for the principles of peace and mutual respect reinforce the importance of collaboration among nations," end quote. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast tomorrow, Tuesday, December 31st, here on Ctv3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at www.ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews. or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.